Immigrant Song. Let's get right in, guys. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yes, the first song, Immigrant Song. Guys, right from the jump, you are hit, with that legendary riff. Jimmy Page, locks in, with this, the raw, chugging guitar line. I have to say, I mean, it's simple, but hypnotic, almost tribal, in its rhythm. Then we have John Bonham's drums, come, crushing in like thunder, you know, heavy, controlled, but absolutely dominating the mix. And the John Paul Jones, he goes and he holds things down, on the bass, thick and gritty, giving that foundation so the rest of the band, can just explode over it. This song, is under 3 minutes, but Led Zeppelin, packs more power, into that than most bands, can manage, in 10. Yeah, the energy doesn't dip, for a second. I have to say, I mean, it's like being on a Viking ship, charging towards shore. The rhythm pushes forward, relentlessly, wave after wave. You can feel the adrenaline, in every single note. Then we have yours truly, Robert Plant. That opening scream, guys, you know the one. I mean, it's legendary. I have to say. I mean, the way his voice, sours and slices, through the track, it's almost supernatural. I love the fact that he doesn't sing those lines. He summons them. Based on a few facts that I pulled up, that will became one of the most recognizable moments in rock history. Go figure. Yeah, and once again, based on a few facts that I pulled up in Robert Plant, lyrically, tapped into Norse, mythology. We came from the land, of the ice and snow. It's the Vikings, invading new lands, but there's something symbolic, about it too. It's about power. It's about conquest. It's about exploration, and in a way, that was, Led Zeppelin themselves, at this time. They were conquering the music world, guys. I mean, stepping into new territory, with total confidence. The line, the hammer of the gods, will drive our ships, to new lands, feels almost prophetic. You know, it's the Beth, of Led Zeppelin's, mythos, if that makes sense. Yes, I mean, what's crazy is that, I mean, this song, "Immigrant Song," was actually inspired, by the band's, trip to Iceland in 1970. Robert Plant, said that visiting the land of ice and snow, gave him that imagery of Vikings, ships and ancient gods. And when you hear the track, it really, really, feels like the soundtrack, to the, to the landscape. It's cold, it's powerful, and definitely alive. This song, based on a few facts that I pulled up, these are all things that I pulled up. This song also marked the turning point, for Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin the third, leaned, into acoustic and folk sounds, but they still open the album, with this beast. It's like they were saying, yeah, we can mellow out, but we can also crash you in under 3 minutes. Guys, I have to say, half a century later, this song, still, hits like, it came out yesterday. There's no doubt about it. You hear it in movie trailers, in countless covers. It's definitely timeless. Definitely has that timeless appeal. That scream, that riff, you know, that energy. It's the DNA of hard rock. For me, this is Led Zeppelin. Distilled down, to their purest essence. Primal, powerful, and larger than life. Every second definitely counts. That's just what I think about the song. But I really, really want to hear from you guys also. What's your favorite part of the song? Is it that opening scream, the guitar riff, or just raw power, of the whole track? And drop your thoughts down the comments. Yeah.